I'm Harley. I thought I might do a Harley Sleepytime cinema selection. I know it's been a while, but I just watched a really good movie and I thought maybe you all would want to talk about it. So, Cloverfield Paradox was just released after the Super Bowl. They played a commercial during the game. I don't really watch the Super Bowl, so I didn't know about it that way, but I thought that was a great marketing strategy. That is a great way to get your movie out there, to have your commercial viewed during the Super Bowl. You have a huge audience, and then Netflix immediately released it afterwards, so you could just go and watch it. There was no waiting. There was no trying to figure out if it was in the theaters or not in the theaters, or trying to remember, oh, there was that movie I wanted to see. What was it called? It was just there. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant. So, I found out about it because when you turn on Netflix, which I usually do at night before I go to bed, it will stream through, like, if you don't hit any buttons, because I tend to dick around a lot before I actually get in bed, it'll just play its commercials, its previews for you to, like, hey, did you know this was on there? So I saw the preview for it that way, and I really liked the previous two Cloverfield movies, so I thought, why not? I should like this one too, right? And I really did. So basically it's set in 2028, about 20 years after the first one has been released, and where that one was set. The Earth is on the brink of war, like the whole Earth. All of the countries are, getting ready to go to war because we're running out of resources for energy. There's a huge energy crisis, and all of these countries, China, Russia, the UK, the US, there's like 7 scientists from different countries. They all come together, and they're sent into space because there's a theory that if they can build a super collider, like the biggest one ever made, and get it to work right, they can solve this energy crisis forever, that it won't even be an issue anymore. So they go into space, and this is their mission. Now there's a flip side to this, right? There's the catch-22, because they haven't actually done a lot of testing of this. So they, in theory, can make it work, but if they make it work, they don't know what will happen afterwards. And if they make it work, but it doesn't work right, they don't know what will happen when they do that either. Donald Logue plays a character, I didn't write down his name, but he plays a character who's like a scientist on Earth who's debating this on like a news program, like, hey, yes, I understand, we're on the brink of war, we need to solve this problem, but I don't think this is the way, because these are the other things that can happen. These are my concerns. And he mentions that the space-time fabric basically can be ripped. Like, if it's not even that if it's used inappropriately, but if it's just not calibrated right, if it's just not put together right, that we just don't know what we're doing enough yet, that it could cause all of these things that we don't know what the repercussions are yet. So his argument is that really, is it worth the risk? Are we playing with fire that we don't know how to put out, basically? And that's where the whole paradox comes in. So it's a great movie. I don't want to give away too much, but I think there are some really interesting, I did some internet research, and even before I did the research, I kind of went, and as I was watching this, was thinking, how does this tie into the other movies? But there's a theory that I watched that says that, it's interdimensional, that this might happen in our world, but it affects every dimension that has this particle accelerator in it, if that makes sense. So that's why it can happen in 2008 and in 2016 and in 2028 when, this movie takes place. Which I thought was interesting, but kind of as I was watching it, my whole thinking, and like Donald Logue had said in his little speech when he was doing it, is that time is not static. It's not, we move from step to step to step to step, that it's more flowing. And there's a lot of theories that support the fact that it moves more like a river, that it goes back and it goes forth, and it's more fluid than we tend to think it is, than we can wrap our brains around. So my question is it really happening in many dimensions? Or is it that when this thing was fired up and didn't work quite the way they expected it to, did it just unleash these things on time itself? So it can happen in every moment across time, not necessarily across different versions of Earth. Not that I'm one to count out like a multi-Earth kind of thing, obviously, but I don't know. I kind of want to know what your thoughts are on it. Now, it does star a lot of people. I'm going to get their names so wrong because some of them are pretty easy, but I don't know some of these, and I'm sorry. So there's a character named, the main character is Hamilton, who's played by Gugu Mbatha-Raw, maybe? I'm sorry. I'm probably screwing that up. David Oriano plays Keel. Daniel Bruhl plays Schmidt. Him I recognized from some other stuff, but I didn't really take the time to look it up. I think he might be in one of the Marvel movies, but I couldn't place him. John Ortiz plays Monk. Chris O'Dowd plays Mundy. He's really recognizable too, but I don't know from what, and I didn't take the time to look it up, so you can let me know. Ansel Heaney, I can't read my own writing, plays Volkov, and Zeal Zahn plays Tam. I probably really scrolled that name up too, I'm sorry. But these are the scientists that basically go into space and make the particle accelerator and, you know, try to get it to work. And there's a lot of really good humor to go along with the horror of it. It's a really well-balanced movie. Now, what I like is that being a bad robot movie, there is Easter eggs, there's things to watch out for. So something that's in all of J.J. Abrams' movies usually is some reference to Kelvin, and it happens in this movie quite a few times. Also, slushos. So you should watch out for those too, because those tend to show up. And then Simon Pegg has a voiceover role. If you listen really carefully, you can pick up his voice in the beginning of the movie. It's a good movie, I think. I really enjoyed it. I actually want to watch it again. I kind of feel like if you watch the movies out of order, instead of starting with the 2008 one and then the 2016 one and then the 2028 one, as far as like when they take place, not when they were released, obviously. I feel like I might want to watch this one and then the 2008 Cloverfield and then the one that was just released a couple years ago. I feel like that would be like the appropriate viewing order for me if I wanted to watch them more in like a chronological order versus a release date order. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed this, and I look forward to hearing your comments. Make sure to subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. I just hit 2,000 followers. Yay! Check me out on Xbox, Instagram. I think that's it. I think I got through this, finally. Yay! It's only like my third take. All right. Bye, guys.